Hello?
Good evening, Ms. Perrell.
Good evening.
Welcome back, Ms. Perrell.
Thank you. I don't care. I'm busy doing a meeting.
There we go. Let's try that again. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Is Ms. Pearl on yet? Okay, she's absent. Ms. Nguyen? Yes, Mr. Rush?
Ms. McGrady, I can make on the screen.
I have no idea. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm having a difficult time hearing people. Ms. Perrell, did you say you can hear us? Okay, I don't know if that's, I don't know who that is, so we'll, Mr. Rush, can you hear us?
Yeah.
And
I'm here.
so that's Ms. Perrell, thank you. Okay, so, that is, 5 of us are, yes, they can hear. So we are members of the public who would like to address the board on any closed session item on the agenda and do so now. Please identify the agenda item you wish to discuss. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and the total time for public input on each item shall be limited to 20 minutes. In-person comments will go first. Do we have any in-person comments?
No, there's no comments.
Okay, and there are no comments by phone. Okay, moving forward, it is recommended that the Board of Trustees adjourn to consider and may act on any of the closed session matters listed on agenda item 17. May I have a motion?
I move.
Ms. Nguyen, thank you. A second? Mr. Rush, do we have any discussion?
Yes, I have.
Thank you.
I was wondering, all council was invited to participate in the discussion on that.
Dr. Ruppin, I'm so sorry, but I have no idea what you said. Maybe possibly take your mask off?
I can't take it off. I said, is there a possibility for 17 that all council will be present in that discussion closed session?
We still can't understand what you're saying.
I think it's the connection.
Okay. Okay, so was the discussion, your discussion items, are they about closed session?
No, I'm asking, will all council regarding closed session item 17 and as advancing be present in the discussion for closed session?
Council.
Just asking if all council for 17.
Items that are closed session are the ones that are listed as closed session.
I'm gonna write it in the chat. Put the question in the chat, Ms. McGrady.
Dr. Ruffin has asked, will all council for item 17N for closed session be present in closed session for that discussion today?
Okay, thank you. So our district's council will be in closed session. That is all. Any other discussion?
I'm right in.
Okay, having a motion and a second, we'll now vote.
Ms. McGrady, I'm writing my discussion in the chat.
She's responding in the chat.
Okay.
Dr. Ruffin wrote, okay, this does not appear to be fair representation for the record, and I am closing my comments on this issue at this time. Thank you.
Would you repeat that one more time? Well, I think the public has to hear it as well, because,
Do you want me to come up?
thank you.
So the comment from Dr. Ruffin is, okay, this does not appear to be fair representation for the record, and I am closing my comments on this issue at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll call for the vote. Ms. Perrell, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
No? Ms. Nguyen?
No, that's not what I said, Ms. McGrady. I said,
She said yes.
I apologize. I'm so sorry. It sounded like no to me. Okay, Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Aye. Ms. McGrady, aye. And I skipped Mr. Johnson. I don't believe he's with us, but Mr. Johnson? Okay, so that passes 5-0 with a student board member absent. So we will now go to closed session. We will reconvene the regular meeting at 5 p.m. Thank you.
hello, can you?
Hey, Dr. Ruffin, can you hear me?
Yes, can you? It sounds much better this time.
You're still breaking up. It's hard to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay,
that's much better right there. Now we can hear you very clearly.
okay. I'll try to see if I can look around and change my, where I can not have.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
Miss Perel? Miss Perel?
Yes, I'm not gonna be able to attend closed session.
Okay, thank you. I'll let them know.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Mrs. White.
The board will reconvene in open session at 5:15.
Okay. Maybe by that time, this piece of shit will start working.
Thank you for your patience. Good afternoon. Please be advised that the Board of Trustees are participating in this regular meeting, May 26, 1971, in person and with teleconferencing. The meeting is being recorded, and all actions will be taken by a roll call vote. As noted on the agenda, anyone wishing to observe the meeting may do so via AVUHSD YouTube channel. If you are participating remotely, you will be permitted to share your comment by phone. Speakers will be placed on hold until it is their time to provide their comments to the board. Once the speaker is done, or the 3-minute speaker and/or 20-minute agenda item time allotment is met, they will be disconnected from the call. Speakers may continue to observe the meeting on the YouTube channel. If you wish to make a comment in person, you will need to complete a speaker card and give it to staff or board secretary, and wear a face covering, adhere to the physical distancing protocol, complete a brief COVID-19 screening, which includes having your temperature taken upon entering the room. We ask that you only stay at the meeting to provide your comment unless space is available. Space will be limited due to physical distancing and on a first-come, first-served basis. In-person comments will go first. Submissions must comply with the 3-minute time limit. A total time for public input on each agenda item will be limited to 20 minutes. Speakers are cautioned that under the California law, no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments regarding any person simply because those comments are made at a public meeting. Comments received shall become part of the official record. I would like to ask board members to respond to the following question as I call your name. Are you able to hear our proceedings on your end? Mr. Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Perrell?
Yes.
Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
And Ms. McGrady? Yes. Okay, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Johnson, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Everybody please stand. Right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We are at 4A in our agenda. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees adjourn to the PINCO meeting. May I have a motion? Mr. Rush, thank you. Second? Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. Any discussion? Having a motion and a second, we will now vote. Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Hold on.
I'm sorry?
Hold on. Yes.
I'm not sure what that was. What is, I'm asking, do you vote to be
Yes.
adjourned to the PINCO meeting? Yes, thank you. Ms. Nguyen? Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady? Yes. So that passes by a vote of 5-0 with student board member voting yes. We are at PINCO public, items from the floor on PINCO. Do we have any? Okay, there aren't any, so we're just going to jump right over that instead of you listening to me read that. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees receive for information the annual financial report 2019 and 20 PINCO. And we are at D. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees authorize PINCO to enter into an agreement with Kern Ice and Cold Storage to provide outside frozen food storage for the 2021-2022 fiscal year. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Ms. Nguyen would be the motion and Ms. Perrell would be the second. Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second, so we'll now vote. Student board member, Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen? Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady? Yes. So the item passes by a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. We are at item E. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve an agreement between PINCO and Titan and Cold Storage to provide outside dry storage. May I have a motion? Ms. Nguyen, second? Thank you, Mr. Rush. Any discussion? Hearing none and having a motion and a second, we will now vote. Student board member, how do you vote? Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McBrady? Yes. So the item passes by a vote of 5-0, with the student board member voting yes. We are at F. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees authorize PINCO to extend contractual agreements as presented. May I have a motion? Ms. Nguyen, thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Perrell. Any discussion? Having a motion and a second, we'll now vote. Student board member, how do you vote? Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady? Yes. That vote by a vote of 5-0, it passes, with student board member voting yes. We are at G. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the extension with food service transportation for distribution services for the 2021-2022 school year. May I have a motion? Mr. Rush, thank you. A second? Ms. Nguyen is a second. Any discussion? Having a motion and a second, we'll now vote. Student board member, how do you vote? Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen? Yes. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady? Yes. The item passes by a vote of 5-0, with student board member voting yes. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees award as follows for the term of agreement from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. May I have a motion? Ms. Nguyen, thank you. Second? Mr. Rush, thank you. Any discussion? Having a motion and a second, we'll now vote. Student board member, Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Aye. And Ms. McBrady is yes, so the item passes by a vote of 5-0, with student board member voting yes. We are at item I. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and authorize the purchases outlined on the attached schedule. May I have a motion? Mr. Rush, thank you. Second? Ms. Nguyen, thank you. Any discussion? Having a motion and a second, we'll now vote. Student board member, how do you vote? Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady? Yes. So the item passes by a vote of 5-0, with a student board member voting yes. We will now reconvene our regular meeting. Just a second here. Our next item is to honor Elijah Johnson, our student board member. 1 second, please.
Ms. McGrady?
Yes, ma'am. Yes? Yes? Dr. Ruffin, did you have something to share?
I would ask you to speak louder.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can't hear me? Is that better? Okay. Mr. Johnson, Eli Johnson has been our student board member for the last 2 years. Tonight is Eli's last meeting with the Antelope Valley Union High School Board. His advisor, Mrs. Kathy Calvert, has nothing but praise for Eli's work on our board. She stated that he looks out for all students' interests, not just his personal agenda. She mentioned that he supports what the majority of students want, even when it is not what he personally would prefer. As a student board member, he recognizes that each of our schools are different, that students have different needs at each school site. She stated, he has such a maturity about his service for what the kids need. I'm really going to miss him. My next statement is from Dr. Will Laird, Eli's principal. As the principal of Knight High School, I have been honored to have a young man such as Eli Johnson represent not only the students of Knight High School, but the students of the entire Antelope Valley Union School District in his role as student board member over the past 2 years. I have been so impressed by his sincere and passionate desire to give voice to all of the students of this great district. In addition, for the last 2 years, Eli has been my assigned staff buddy through our amazing ASB. In the midst of school, family, and district responsibilities, Eli has consistently reached out to me to encourage me and to check on my well-being. Eli is an amazing young man with many gifts and talents, and I look forward to seeing how he will use those in his future endeavors. Thank you, Eli, for your faithful service to the board, the cabinet, and to all the students of the Antelope Valley Union High School District. You have made us all proud. Okay, my next comment is from Dr. Vieira. Just 1 second. Tonight, I am so proud to recognize Mr. Eli Johnson for his contributions as the Antelope Valley Union High School District Student Board Member. For the past 2 years, Eli has dutifully served in his role representing the more than 20,000 district students. Eli has consistently come prepared and eager to provide student voice and perspective into the important business of the board. I am confident that as Eli begins his journey at Brigham Young University, he will continue to play an active role in his new learning community, offering poise, insight, and vision to make a positive impact, as he has done here in the Antelope Valley. Eli, I truly appreciate your dedication and service to our district. I wish you all the best in this next chapter of your life. Okay, and then the final one is a little bit from me. It's been my privilege to serve with Eli as our student board member for the last 2 years. Eli has proven his leadership skills in his time on the board. He stepped into this leadership role as a sophomore, and he's been with us through some difficult times, but he's done it with poise, and he was here for the pandemic. And as education as we knew it changed for everyone. As we've attempted to serve our students remotely, Eli worked along with our Icc organization to stay connected to students and to the sites. He was involved in last year's discussions concerning drive-through graduations and to try to find ways to honor our graduating seniors. Eli represents all of our students, all of the students that he was elected to represent with poise and dignity. He shows integrity, intelligence, and endurance. And we're expecting great things from this young man. We wish him well on this next leg of his journey. Eli, it's been a pleasure to work with you on this board. Congratulations. Just know that we are so proud of you. Eli Johnson.
Thank you to everybody. Thank you.
Get organized here again. Okay, our next item is our educational services from Caldwell Flores Winters Foundation Scholarship Fund Award, and Mr. Nehan will introduce. Mr. Nehan.
Thank you. For the past several years, CFW has generously given a scholarship to one of our high-performing students. And tonight we have with us Ms. Barbara Renteria from CFW, and she's going to issue the scholarship to SOAR student Ms. Rachel Mabaraka. Ms. Renteria.
Thank you.
Dr. Vieira, and trustees of the Antelope Valley Union High School District. You got the back. It is my honor and my privilege to be here tonight. I am Barbara Renteria. I am the CEO and trustee of the CFW Foundation. Ernesto Flores is president of CFW, and I created this foundation in 2008. Each year we award $50,000 to deserving high school students. Since then we have awarded more than $650,000 in scholarships. CFW is proud of what we've accomplished over the last 30 years, financing and building educational facilities throughout California. But our biggest and proudest moments are the many scholarships that we have paid out throughout the United States of America to colleges, universities, city colleges, and technical schools to assist all the deserving high school graduates. Especially someone like Rachel Mobaraka. Rachel is an exceptional person and student. I am sure you two are proud of her achievement and leadership. Rachel has maintained a great point average above 4.0. She has struggled personally, and she has become stronger in her ability to overcome her hardships. She will go far because she understands it is up to her to succeed. Rachel had plans to attend Yale. Like all things, she has reconsidered. She plans to go to UCLA, my alma mater. Great choice, Rachel. Rachel, it is my great pleasure to award you a scholarship for $3,000. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Rachel. We're very happy for you. Thank you so much for honoring our students. Very welcome. Thank you. So we are at the ICC Student Representatives. Mr. Johnson will introduce our students who are presenting tonight. Mr. Johnson.
So I'm going to need some help with this. Do we have our three Prep Academies presented today? Perfect. I'm so sorry. I was not very prepared today. What order are we going? That's SOAR High School and then SOAR Prep? SOAR first. Okay. Oh, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen of the Board and Cabinet, SOAR High School.
Good evening. My name is Lily. I'm the vice of SOAR High School. In this the goals of taking an excellent physical and social health. What's nominated is a random $20 gift for all kids who can make the issue. And also extremely necessary by national created flyers for 10 local businesses. We post them at medium dedicated to businesses to
Bear with us for just a minute. We're having some technical difficulty.
Good evening, Board and Cabinet. My name is Giselle Zamudio, and I am the Vice President of Star High School's Associated Student Body, and this is our ICC presentation. The Girls Soar High team created the Winning on Excellence project to promote the physical, mental, and social health for students and faculty. Once nominated by a faculty member, students are randomly selected to receive a $20 gift card, all due to their amazing leadership qualities. And in honor of Black History Month in February, our National Honor Society created flyers for more than 10 local Black-owned businesses. We posted them on our social media page and communicated with these businesses to send them our flyers that we designed for their advertising purposes. Here are our top 3 flyers that earn students a gift card.
The senior class had worked with our principals, teachers, and administrators from the district to create a week dedicated to celebrating the class of 2021 seniors. Events such as Senior Sunrise, Drive-Through Ceremony, Senior Sunset, Grad Cap Decorating, Graduation Practice, Senior Awards, and Graduation have been made.
The yearbook class worked hard to create a yearbook that reflected every angle of the SOAR students' life. The trips they went on, the family and friends they hung out with, the pets they loved, and the classes they were inspired in. They worked harder than any other year to reflect that life was more than this pandemic, and that within the pandemic, SOAR had cause for celebration and renewal. Special thanks to Gia Rogers and McKenna Jacob who led this program. Without them, this program would not be the success that it is.
Planner tutorials was held on Discord by ACE, and ASD sent out surveys ahead of time to the most requested subjects that were chemistry, physics, biology, and forensics, geometry, algebra, and trig pre-calc. Amidst the pandemic, SOAR High School was announced the California Department of Education as 2021's California Distinguished School. We are so grateful for this recognition and seeing our hard work together help us grow. We want to thank our teachers, staff, college partners, families, and of course students for pushing through such a difficult time.
We attended the Castle Conference from April 9th to April 12th and learned about listening as the first step of leadership. The theme for this year's conference was Cafe Castle, and we learned about the levels of a latte and make up a leader. These levels consist of choosing to listen, being open-minded, and managing conflict. As we connected with student leaders across the state, we also heard from guest speakers, such as the amazing T Street, who encouraged us to see the value in each person, avoid taking credit for activities we did not contribute to, and to recognize that we grow during challenging times.
Class of 2022 had held nominations for their 2021 prom court for their virtual prom event, which took place on April 30th. This online prom event was themed as a casino night, and juniors and seniors virtually joined a Zoom call to play bingo, mafia, Pictionary, Uno, categories, and more. Students were even allowed to get dressed up and go to O'Connor Photography to take some prom photos. This was a cool way for students to feel like they were having a prom night.
Thank you for listening, and remember to dream high and soar higher.
Thank you, SOAR High School. Ladies and gentlemen of the Board and Cabinet, the Academies of the Antelope Valley. And thank you, Mr. Allen.
Good evening, Board and Cabinet. My name is Giselle Zamudio.
Hi, I'm Martina Ellis, Honda Prep's ASD president. Thank you for this opportunity to present the amazing things that are going on at our school. Although distance learning has been challenging, the staff of Honda Prep has gone out of their way to make sure that we succeed, whether it's home labs, virtual escape rooms, or special drive-thrus with awards and goodie bags. Our staff has made us feel special. We implemented a monthly school-wide award assembly and habitude lessons. Habitudes are district-approved social-emotional leadership lessons. We believe these lessons and this time together as a whole school and breakout groups has helped us build relationships, even between the times of distance learning. It was great to get our Students of the Month awards delivered to our houses. HOSA has been very busy this year. 10 HOSA members attended a virtual leadership conference, and we attended virtual meetings twice a month. 7 members qualified for the state competition. Honda Prep had the first ever junior high delegate at the state conference. Honda was also one of the 10 schools in the state, and only 2 were junior highs, that received suicide prevention and early intervention grant. We used part of the grant to host quarterly drive-thrus, decorating the front of the campus and having kids drive through to receive supplies, awards, and goodie bags filled with amazing surprises, as well as letters of encouragement from staff and information on mental health services. Distance learning hasn't stopped school spirit at Hondo Prep. Our PBIS store has been very busy with students designing their own spirit wear. We've had spirit days and AVUHSD Wednesdays. Last but not least, we're excited to bring back sports to our campus. We're able to have both cross country and soccer teams. It was nice to go back in person and cheer on our classmates. We're looking forward to our promotion ceremonies as we enjoy the last few days as state setters. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Alexa and I'm from Night Prep Academy and I'm the ASB president. Thank you for letting me present our progress. During virtual learning, Night Prep Academy had bi-monthly lab kit pickups. Every other Wednesday, we had morning, afternoon, and evening opportunities for students to drive through and pick up all the supplies we would need for our labs and other hands-on activities for the next 2 weeks. From home, we learned to program Arduinos, make mousetrap cars, catapults, Caprice rockets, cell models made of clay, DNA models, custom orthotics, just to name some of our favorites. We also did at-home scientific experiments, such as the density lab pictured on the slide. We are also excited to announce that next year, our 8th graders will have the opportunity to build and design their own fully sized, fully functional electric guitar in our engineering class. The school has also strived to provide us with various enrichment opportunities as well. We participate in monthly family movie nights that correspond with family themes, such as Remember the Titans for Black History Month and Hidden Figures for Women's History Month. These movie nights are hosted by the staff during the evenings as a time for entire families to interact with other school members. We also took Zoom field trips as well. Our first Zoom trip was to Semic to learn about math, science, and engineering that goes into their daily jobs. We recently enjoyed a Zoom field trip to iFly indoor skydiving, where we learned about gravity, force, drag, and other components that can help or hinder something from flying. Every student in attendance is getting a voucher for 2 indoor skydiving opportunities at iFly and Universal City Walk. Students' organization was a big goal at Night Prep this year. One way we did this was by earning prep points that can then be used to purchase items in our prep store. At Night Prep Academy, prep stands for being prepared, respectful, engaged, and taking pride in our work. All year, both virtual and in-person, students were incentivized to prep for success. Teachers award points for showing up to class on time, helping other students, being polite and kind, and unmuting our mics, or using our cameras in virtual classrooms, just to name a few. We then get to spend our points on earbuds, water bottles, safety apparel, books, homework passes, and much more to store. We also had drive-through virtual award ceremonies, as well as place Students of the Month yard signs in the yards of some of our exceptional students. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Janet Della Cruz, and I'm the 7th grade representative of the ASB. Since we started the school year in 2020, everyone was introduced into the virtual world, but we have been able to create a fun and educational environment amidst the pandemic. SOAR Prep continues to support students during the pandemic with their quarterly newsletters. We have also been connecting students' interests with XBlock, an event where each teacher hosts a Google Meet and teaches a special lesson. For example, we had art, video gaming, movie, and even a cooking class. We've also been able to congratulate our students each month with virtual celebrations with Student of the Month awards. With the help of ASB, we have hosted virtual movie nights and takeout dinners for fundraising. Virtual spirit days were also a highlight of the year. From Pajama Day, even though we know everybody already varies the few days to school, Bring Your Pet to School Day, Throwback Thursday, Free Kid Friday, and many more. Teachers were also able to create fun projects with the students, including one-pagers, Mammal Madness brackets, creating your names in ancient languages, and playing Kahoot. As we transitioned back on campus, we began offering some sports, including cross-country and soccer. Competing against our prep sites brought school spirit and competitiveness among the prep academy. Even the soccer team had a fun time after having an end-of-the-season dress-up scrimmage. Believe it or not, as the school year is ending in 2 weeks, events like APIC Commotion, Ice Cream Day, and drive-thru celebrations are taking place. Although we are looking forward to in-person learning next year with more activities and many new faces to be part of our space mission at the SOAR Prep Rocket. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Elena Lopez, Virtual Academy's ASB Vice President. So on this page, we had our ASB members add their Bitmojis, and you can click on them to find an About Me page for each of the members. Here's an example of one of them. We also had some of our favorites on the walls. So some people added their favorite songs, their favorite speeches, and I added my favorite recipe. So this page was really just to get to know the ASB members. So here is our monthly activities. We had a thematic presentation each month. That's where we covered topics like endangered animals, Women's History Month, suicide prevention, and LGBTQ+ awareness. Each month, we also had a Strategies for Success presentation where we talked about things like access to student resources, organizing a Google Drive, and study tips. One month in particular that we did was October. We had a breast cancer awareness presentation where we gave information about it, resources on how you can help, and we had weekly activities that students could participate in. We also had a growth mindset presentation for our Strategies for Success. It talked about how to go from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset and some tips on that. In addition to doing that, we wanted to make sure that our students actually participated and got involved with ASB. So we had Spirit Weeks and Weeks of Bliss. Our Spirit Weeks we had 4 Spirit Weeks, one for Halloween, one for winter, a My Favorites Spirit Week, and a Time Warp Spirit Week. These were just really fun and easy ways for students to participate and get involved. They just posted them doing an activity on Instagram, tagged us, and then we reposted them. For our Weeks of Bliss, we had 4 Weeks of Bliss. 2 that did really well were a Netflix and Disney Kahoot, and we also had a Whodunit event where one of our seniors, Kiara Love, actually wrote a Whodunit, and students had to figure out, a little mystery, and it was really fun. We had a lot of participation in that. Here are some other events that we did. We had a Wear Green for St. Patrick's Day where students posted on their Instagram. We reposted them. We also had an open mic night where students could show their unique talents. And we had a February self-care month where every Sunday we gave students ideas of how they can do a little self-care and take care of themselves. Here's some student participation. This was from an art contest we did that we got a lot of participation in. It was a lot of really amazing work. Here's some more student participation for Spirit Weeks, our open mic night, and Weeks of Bliss. Thank you so much for joining the academies of the Antelope Valley and watching our presentation.
Special thank you to SOAR High School, SOAR Prep, Night Prep, Palmdale Prep, and the Virtual Academy. Our ICC met for the last time for this school year yesterday. It was good to hear about what all the different schools are doing for graduation and the different activities that they're doing in accordance with that. Thank you, Ms. McGrady.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson, and thank you to all of our students who participated tonight. Now, our next, we are on D. This is 6D, if you're following along on the agenda. This is System of Supports. Ms. Williams.
Hi, good evening to the board, Madam President, to the and Cabinet. Just like to take a few minutes this evening to share with you our systems of supports that we've put in place to support the social emotional needs of our students and parents and staff. So during the Safer at Home orders, all students and staff continue to have access virtually to our school counselors, school psychologists, social workers, our educational related intensive counseling therapists, student support centers, and also our school-based mental health services. These services has transitioned back to campus and are also still being provided to our students and families virtually as well. We recognize the huge impact this pandemic has had on the social emotional well-being of our students and staff. And so the Student Services Division created a mental health support website that provided our students, parents, staff, and community a number of both local and county resources. We also developed our own mental health hotline, in which 4 of our social workers were available to assist any community members and link them to resources within the community. And just to note, our hotline has phased out as of April 30th, but just wanted to make you aware of that. A team of counselors attended a virtual conference and were inspired to create our own virtual common website. The website contains a number of valuable resources to assist with addressing anxiety, stress, and strategies for managing feelings and emotions. Some of these resources include live music, mental health apps, mindfulness activities, puzzles and games, live cameras, which are linked to various zoos around Southern California. But it was just a nice way to have, and many of us continue to use this common website on a daily basis because there are just a lot of valuable resources that are included. So in 2015, we had an opportunity to increase our counseling staff and looked at how to enhance our counseling services for our students. We asked ourselves what a perfect counseling program would look like in the 21st century. And with that question as our guiding principle, we created 4 separate committees composed of counselors and support staff from each school. Each committee was assigned one of our LCAP goals and examined the relationship between the American School Counselors Association counseling domains and our LCAP goals. We spent the first semester of the 15-16 school year creating the Guidance and Counseling for the 21st Century document, which helped us evaluate our counseling programs and really be intentional with determining additional staffing needs in the future. And really one of our main goals as we went through this process was to create manageable caseloads that would allow us to serve our students really from a proactive versus a reactive manner. So that discussion led to an increase in our counseling staff, psychologists, and the hiring of our own social workers. I would like to point out that this chart does reflect overall averages and not individual caseloads. And so as you can see, we currently have a total of 97 staff members who provide social emotional support to our students. And the current budget allocation for our social emotional staff is just about $12.6 million. Our counselors have been instrumental in supporting the social emotional needs of our students. With our students being on distance learning, they established a number of venues for our students to connect with them for academic, college and career, and social emotional support. They established a number of ways to communicate with our students and families via scheduling one-to-one appointments, drop-in Google Meet rooms that were open throughout the day on a daily basis, and in addition to communicating important information and resources through weekly bulletins. Our social workers also not only facilitated our mental health hotline, but they also provided continued support and therapy to our students via Google Meets and phone calls. We also wanted to make sure that we had real-time and relevant information for our students and families regarding community resources, and so our social workers spent numerous hours contacting all of our community resources to ensure that those resources were still available for our families. And so for next school year, we're looking to expand our social worker staff to include 4 additional social workers, and this will allow us to have one assigned to each comprehensive campus and also shared with our smaller sites. Also for your consideration tonight is a MOU with Cal State Bakersfield, and that would allow us to place social worker interns with our social workers for supervision for free. And so this would allow us to potentially double our capacity in this area for our students and families. And so just a note that the 4 new positions are not reflected in that previous chart that I just discussed as well. Our students with disabilities continue to receive support through our psychologists, counselors, and social workers. Our students who need a higher level of support receive services through our ERICS program, which is driven by a recommendation through the IEP process. And so through the ERICS program, students receive, and their families, wraparound services, more in-depth assessments, and just really more support to support our students with disabilities and also the needs of the family. Our psychologists and therapists continue to work with our students and parents on their caseload to provide DIS counseling per the student's IEP. And then also our school psychologists had access to EverFi, which is a free mental health curriculum to utilize with our students as well. So the student support centers have played an integral role in supporting our students as well during this time. They are designed to be a hub of resources on our campuses in these various areas: substance abuse, social emotional learning, basic needs, counseling and mental health services. Social workers are also provide support, community resources, and our community attendance workers. And it allows us to address the needs of our students from really a whole child approach through our student support coordinators who are assigned to our student support centers. We utilize the Student Support Center to support our students and connect them to community resources. And also, I think the bigger piece is that we're able to address the needs of our students immediately and proactively through our student support centers. And at this point, they are back on campus, and they are, it is an actual classroom on our campuses, and also we're still supporting our students virtually as well. In addition to those areas, some additional supports that we provide through our centers are mentorship, assistance with attendance and student engagement, behavior support, academic support, substance abuse counseling, and social emotional learning. We know that not only our students have experienced some level of trauma during this pandemic, but our teachers, our staff, and parents also needed support during this time. And so we developed a Google site for our teachers to access mental health supports. We also provided an opportunity virtually for staff to drop in for face-to-face sessions if they chose to. We offer trainings that address their own self-care, social emotional learning, and suicide prevention. We also offered our parents an opportunity to access our calming website, developed a mental health website with community and county resources, and just provided a number of trainings, as you can see here, to help support our families as we've been transitioning during this time. We expanded our partnerships that has assisted us with addressing the various needs of our students. Our newest partnership is with Department of Children and Family Services, in which they provide and co-locate a social worker on 6 of our campuses. And so that has really assisted us with addressing the needs of our foster youth, as well as our foster ed partnership. And we've been in partnership with foster ed for the past 2 years, and they provide an educational liaison on 4 of our campuses to provide additional support to our foster youth. And as we refer our foster youth to a higher level of support, a tier 3 support, they're able to provide that additional support as well. We continue to partner with Department of Mental Health that allows us to co-locate a number of agencies, as you see here on our campuses, to provide mental health support to our students, and we can make direct referrals to these agencies on our campuses. Little Rock High School is part of the Community Schools Initiative, which is a partnership through the LA County Office of Education. And really one of the guiding pillars of the Community Schools Initiative is to highlight areas of need and leverage community resources to address the needs of our students and families. And so the 211 program provides a dedicated person funded by the county on Little Rock High School's campuses campus to connect our students and family to community resources within their community and throughout the county, and also provide follow-up to ensure that our students and families are accessing those services. And so the county has just hired the individual that will be assigned to Little Rock, and they will be working on Little Rock's campus in the near future, and we are looking to expand this program as well to some of our other schools. And knowing that many of our students have experienced trauma, anxiety, depression, grief, just loss, and instability, we recognize the importance of being proactive with addressing the social, emotional, and well-being of our students when they return full time. And so we have adopted and will be implementing the social emotional curriculum Habitudes district-wide next school year. And this curriculum addresses the 5 core competencies of social emotional learning, which are self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, and social awareness. And about a year and a half ago, a committee consisting of school counselors, administrators, teachers, and district coordinators reviewed a number of different curriculum to address social emotional learning, and Habitudes was the curriculum that we chose to assist us with delivering social emotional learning to our students. As you're probably aware, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and so we've planned a few activities to honor this important message and awareness. This past Monday, we had Mindful Monday, in which we had a trained mindfulness facilitator earlier this week to facilitate a mindfulness activity with our staff and whomever was available and interested in participating. We also are in the midst of conducting a Flipgrid self-care challenge for staff and students, in which we're asking our staff and students to post a 1-minute video in these areas. And then also yesterday we offered a training on stress management and emotional well-being for our parents and caregivers. So in spite of this the difficulties this past year, we were still able to host our annual Take 2 suicide prevention campaign. And our students are just brilliant with their creativity, and it never ceases to amaze me. The campaign also includes a video contest that was created by our own students. And so unfortunately, we were not able to recognize last year's winner. So I would like to take a few minutes to recognize Knight High School as the first place winner for the film titled Back to a Better Future for the 2019-20 school year. This year, I would like to officially recognize Quartz Hill High School as the first place winner for their video entitled Empty Dots. And I'd just like to take just 2 minutes just to see the remarkable work of our students and just share the video with all of you.
This oceanside Verbo is about to become the backdrop for an unforgettable vacation.
Okay, good morning, folks. We'll be covering drafting absolute value inequalities on a number line this morning. We've gone through some of this before. I did make some videos there for you to look at. Hopefully it'll be reviewed for most of you. But if not, just remembering how to do that. Remember, if we had an X equals 1, the only place that's equal to 1. The arrow be going to the right.
How can you be so responsible? I don't get it. What's wrong with you? Why can't you get the kid to make sure that you don't run away? No.
Miguel, it's Mr. Self. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
you. Your mic's hot, Miguel? So, I heard that. And I'm really sorry you're having to deal with that right now.
Yeah, it's been kind of rough lately, going through some things.
You're not alone in that. Let me know if you need to talk.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're not alone. Thank you all for sharing.
Thank you. So every time I see that video, I get chills just because of the reality that our kids are facing, and then also just the thought that our kids and their just amazing ability to put this film together to really enlighten us on on suicide prevention and how important this work is, and how important it is to just take 2 minutes and support one another during difficult times. And so the last thing that I'd like to really share with you, and I've been so excited about this opportunity here for the Antelope Valley. A team of the Student Services folks went over to visit this new, it's a new behavioral health urgent care center, and it's over on Avenue I. And it's a state-of-the-art facility that provides high-quality mental health services. It's the first of its kind in this area. It's a 24/7 program that provides rapid access to mental health assessment, crisis intervention, medication support for any resident in the Antelope Valley. And so this is a place where people are experiencing a mental health crisis can go to get stabilized. And it can be compared to an urgent care. You break your arm, you go in, triage, and then you are referred or taken care of and referred to for aftercare. And so it's the same model for mental health services, and it goes from 13 years old to adults. And so just the fact that we will have, it's still in the process of opening. And so we're expecting probably within the next 30 to 45 days for it to be open, but to have this resource right here at our fingertips in our valley, that when our students are experiencing difficulties, that we have a resource that we can refer our families to, and they can get immediate care right there when the student needs it, and then linked to additional long-term care. So that concludes my presentation today, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. I was just going to say thank you, and do we have any questions? Yes, you do.
Ms. Williams, I'm so totally impressed with the work that you've done and put together. This just is an amazing multi-tiered layer of help for students and staff and parents too. I'm just amazed at the work that you and your staff have been able to put together. I do have a question. Do people come and ask you? I mean, there's so many issues these days in our community, I think pandemic related really. But do people come and ask you and say, hey, what services do you provide? Hey, I need this help. Do you have people who come and talk to you about that?
Yes, I mean, we, really from our students' perspective and families' perspective, all the time we get inquiries, as well as, and I think the key is really making sure our staff know, our social emotional staff, not only our social emotional staff, but all staff know those resources that are available. So that, and I think it's important that those resources are right there on our campuses as well, so that our students can access those services right then and there. But our social workers have been instrumental with connecting our students to the community resources. I mean, when they triage and they work with students and families, they're on the phones and they're calling and they're finding beds that our families can take students to immediately and get immediate care. And so the social workers have really allowed us an opportunity to strengthen our multi-tiered supports for our students and our families.
Such a need for this help, and I have to say, coming from the community, of course, I don't have students in high school any longer, but well, except for one year. But this is amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for the work that you do and put together.
Dr. as well.
Thank you. Dr. Ruffin, did you have a question?
Yes, thank you. I was the depth for adding amount that has that told you. I really think that you're very clear on that. My question, I had an opportunity to visit one of our schools. Just from my stay there, there was about being able to have a full-time psychologist the site, and it was that we were exploring that for positions that were offered. I just wanted a little bit there. It looks like are specific for parents. Is that the case?
I didn't quite get your question, Dr. Ruffin. You're breaking up.
All right. Are the positions specific for parents?
Oh, on the agenda tonight?
Yes.
Yes, those are for our ERICS program. And what we found is that the partnership we had with the agency, that we found that we could offer better and more effective services, and also it would be more cost effective for us to offer those services from our own in-house individuals.
Absolutely. I'm in total agreement with that. My is, I noticed as a district 107 million plus funds, and I know ERIC is specifically for students who have IEP. When we're talking about counseling, counseling, is there an opportunity to be able to use some of this 107 to add other psychologists or counseling support that is not specific to ERIC? So that's just something I would like to put out there for the community. My second that I want to get William is thank you for bringing crisis intervention for the Behavior Center. I believe our community will greatly benefit from that and possibly be able to diminish the type of interventions with police on campuses. I really believe that area comes from therapists who are clinically trained, skilled in that capacity, and I would want us to consider if we need Ms. Williams, you would have to provide support in that aspect so that we have officers that our kids can have. We're in DS.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
As we move forward, we are at the board officer report. Ms. Nguyen, did you have anything tonight to report?
I actually have two reports, one Laxter report and one Antelope Valley School Board Association report. However, they're both over a month old now. Those meetings were last month. And I'll just make the report available to Rachel, and if anybody would like to see it, they may. The news is kind of most everybody's.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hawkins, Antelope Valley Schools Transportation Report.
Nothing to report tonight. Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, we are at G from AVTA, Mr. Dan Shy. Oh, okay, no, Mr. Shy is not here, he's not on the phone. Okay, moving forward from there, from CSEA, Ms. Karen White. Ms. White?
Good evening. Can you hear me okay?
I sure can, thank you.
Okay. This thing is kind of fluctuating, so I hope everything comes through. So, good afternoon, board member, Mr. Grady, board members, student board member, Mr. Johnson, Dr. Vieira, board cabinet, Mr. Perno, and Ms. Orozco. I'm hoping that the next time that we have a board meeting, CSEA restrictions will be lifted and I'll be able to speak to you in person. But for now, I have to speak to you in this venue, and I hope that you'll bear with me this afternoon. May is coming to an end. Graduation is on the June horizon. And mentioning graduation and our graduates, I want to extend my sincerest appreciation to the Antelope Valley Press for their offer that has been in the paper for the past week. For those of you who haven't seen it, let me tell you what they've offered to our high school and college graduates, free of charge. If our graduate sends a picture of themselves in their cap and gown, along with a short profile by the 11th of June, the Valley Press will put their picture and profile in the publication called 2021 Graduate Profiles, due to come out on Sunday, June 20th. This is a generous offer, provided an uplifting expression on the faces of our graduates as they were going through their senior checkout and when they heard it. So thank you, Antelope Valley Press, for not only putting smiles on those faces, but also for recognizing them on their accomplishments. And a big congratulations to each of our graduates across the Valley. I do hope you will bear with me, as I may sound repetitive, but I feel the following congratulations are needed. These efforts should be acknowledged for their achievement as we dealt with COVID-19 and because they weren't discouraged. They own this success. And with that, we want to congratulate Soar High School on receiving their second year in a row the California Distinguished School Award. This is outstanding and quite an accomplishment. To Lancaster High School, congratulations for being recognized by the American School Counselor Association as recognized ASCA Model Program, or RAMP. By maintaining their framework for being a data-informed school and having their criteria aligned with the ASCA National Model is a great honor. I look forward to hearing about your recognition ceremony that's going to be held in Las Vegas on July 13th. Congratulations to all your counselors. Well done. A big thank you to Paul George Foundation for their contribution to send students and chaperones to the space camp in Huntsville, Alabama, and the scholarship to those deserving students at Knight, Highland, and Palmdale High Schools. Congratulations on being part of this wonderful summer opportunity. We love seeing your picture on the front page and reading each of your names in today's newspaper. And thank you, Julie Drake, for so many wonderful stories and pictures of our students this year. They brightened our day and they show the wonderful things our students accomplish every day. Next, we want to congratulate and recognize all of those in our district who reached their benchmark for years of service, and those receiving recognition with either a special or distinguished service award. We congratulate all of our site winners for Classified and Teacher of the Year awards, and a special congratulations to Helen Gonzalez for being our District Classified Employee of the Year, and Leonard Moreno for being the District Teacher of the Year. We congratulate and recognize each of you in your accomplishments, everything that you've done for our students, their families, our employees, and our communities. Tonight, you have a tentative agreement on your agenda between CSEA and the district concerning an MOU that our chapter has already ratified. This provides our members the ability to carry over extra vacation hours, which our members could not use this past year because of COVID-19 issues. We hope you will also see the necessity for this MOU, as did our membership. As we near the weekend, I hope you'll take a moment to remember the true reason for Memorial Day. Please remember the sacrifice that so many have given for us and honor their memory this Memorial Day weekend. I hope you will have a wonderful summer, whether it's traveling on vacation, visiting family, or just relaxing and enjoying the day. As we move past our summer experiences from COVID-19 last year, please savor every moment and enjoy your weekend. Thank you for your attention and have a good evening.
Hello, Dr. Victoria Ruffin. Hello, Assistant Miss Shannon Williams, and of course you, Miss Rachel Orozco. I'm gonna try to read real fast what I have to say. It was on agenda items number 8. It was H. Don't know for sure. I'm still learning the process. So it goes like this: approval for amendment to employment of Dr. Vieira. Let me say, if this is the approval for his continued employment, stop it. Stop the shenanigans. The district's under his watch because I said stop it. The district under his watch because certain loyalists on his board, excluding Ruffin, has been paying cases out by the thousands and still should be because of the non-actions against criminal teachers like the Three Stooges I've been complaining about, really. And 3 more enablers: DJ Hines, Chris Grotto, Jeff Samuel Smith, Ashley McCullough, Anthony Hunt, and James Stockdale, and including you, Mr. Dr. Vieira, because you didn't help when I needed you to help. All condone the wrong of mistreatments of young teenage male on the varsity basketball team of 2019 and 20 season. So the transparency that Dr. Ruffin tries to get to the bottom of, that keeps on being pushed up under, is sad. So I vote against any amendment that continues to keep you as an employment, whether or not my black vote stands for right. Just check out what's going on in Arizona. Some of you are crooked 2 times in with the 2-time impeached president. Shame. I'm proud to stand with Dr. Ruffin, who really stood for the community, elected her for, and because she has the kahunas to do that. And this other thing about number 8, C, D, E, and F, and G. Thank you, Ms. Shannon Williams, for speaking the way you did regarding the special ed and the situations. That's why we're here today. That's why I'm here, because of how kids in this district have been treated. When I came to this board to ask you all for help for these students sitting up here at the district under the watch of DJ Hines and others, no one really was able to help the way it was. We had a student that was kicked off of a team because he thanked Pete Knight for a great game. Then other kids got treated badly. So I'm gonna tell you, I know I don't have much time, but I'll say it in the next part of my speech. But the issue was, no one felt like it was important enough for me to come to you. The way all this agenda is about how the mental health is, I came and no shame in my game. And I'm not worried about the imposters behind me or those that are sitting up who feel like that I'm not saying anything that's worth anything. It is. What I'm saying is worth it. My problem is so many of those kids on that team, and I know you know many, have been really abused mentally. And you know what I'm saying. So let's keep it there. So that's why I'm so adamant about not letting this guy go. This complacency of not saying anything and pushing it aside, all behind the coach that should have been the coach was Terrence Powell. You took a Lancaster High School teacher that came over here because he was a teacher and took it away from a man that's been there for 12 years. That's wrong. That helped the team to get up there where they need to be and just slapped them in the face because he was a friend of Jeff Samuel Smith. I know I have no minutes.
Thank you. Moving forward, we go to public comments on non-agendized items.
Just one comment from
I'm sorry?
Just one comment this evening.
Oh, just one? Okay.
I know good and well that you all know that I really don't know what I'm also doing, but I know one thing, I'm gonna speak my voice, it counts. So some of those naysayers that are sitting back there in this chat room speaking about Dr. Ruffin showing me how to speak up, shame on you. Obviously I'm not smart enough and really eloquent the way she is, the way she handles her business dealing with this board. But I'm a parent, I'm a worker, I'm a tax-paying citizen, I'm a person that has done my damn job to be standing in here to learn the things that I have learned. And the way some people have come up in your district, sitting up in here, talking on here, it has really floored me because I've watched people come and humiliate her, humiliate me, humiliate students, and just act like it's not true. You got a young man here that just got represented on being a great student. And I commend you, Mr. Eli Johnson, even though I don't say much to you, because the simple fact is you're a student. And I take I take it hard when students are being abused. So what I'm going to suggest that you all do, I'm going to set this down. I'm going to suggest that you do this for me. You go back on 2/12/20. Go to Jeff Stanlin of Oxnard High School. See if he'll pass you the so-called video of the game that took place. Some of you are worried about why I'm standing up here. If you were there like Mr. LaMonaco and other teachers that tried to help the students of Highland, you wouldn't see me. But because now I've learned the mess that I've seen by going through Antelope Valley's Press's madness, and because I look and pull up stuff just to see, if you go and see the Max Preps video, I have it on my thumb drive. And I say that because you would see somebody calling himself a coach. For the coaches sitting there, not letting certain players even play on the CIF game that got them there. So you all may feel like, oh, it's okay. The district and everybody feel like, why is this woman still saying something? I couldn't care about a naysayer or a chat person in the room because they've already impostered me 3 times. I want to find out if Mr. The attorney here can help me. Do I got any rights about saying, should that have took place? But the moment we come back in here, it's now we got to deal with the Zoom bombers. I'm sick and I'm tired. And what's really making me mad about being here is you don't seem to get it. You don't seem to keep on looking at what's going on in the world. Everybody wants to drink the Kool-Aid and act like they don't see nothing with your own eyes. Visit that game. Can you tell me if we should have James Stockdale, Anthony Hutt, Mr. So-called Mr. McGrady, Mr. Grado, and Jeff Smith? Why would he have to vote in for another person to come from Lancaster? Do you know how bad this coach did these kids? He sat up when Kobe Bryant died and talked about his kids, his daughters from Lancaster, who they were able to play with his daughters. Didn't even let some of the players play. Didn't even let them mourn right. So if you want to know how I feel and why I feel the way I feel, I'm going to hold you accountable. That you should let these people be fired, or at least you should amend them. If I find out they're coaching, trust me, there's a problem.
Mr. Neal, can I ask you a question just for clarification? Has any of the issues that she's brought up been addressed?
Well, I know that there was an investigation last year, I believe, from an outside investigator, and the report was filed, was completed and submitted to us.
And if you're going to speak on it, am I able to say anything else?
Can you repeat the question?
Can I say that again? Can I speak, Mrs. Wynn? Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I really appreciate you concerning. But I will say this. Ask them whether or not Chris Grado or someone from Highland called only certain students during somebody's investigation going on. I won't put out any names, but I know of many students that have been really gone through a lot, and they have not been heard. So this so-called whatever you're saying, please ask who is calling all the kids Mr. DJ Hines' favorites that they were calling them at home, asking, because he called them the N-word. He called them kids, go out and play like some niggas. And everybody want to twist that. And I'm not accepting it. They wanted to say that the kids didn't hear what they said. And if you really go and do an investigation, Ms. Wynn, I wish that you guys would. I wish you would go, Mr. Furno, and say, was it ever said? Take them kids quietly. But you know what they did to them? They wouldn't let them play if they opened their mouth. But you know what who you really can go check? Go and check the young man that just got that so-called scholarship. The young man that everybody at AV, I think he went to Davis, he was on our team.
Thank you. I'm sorry, we need to move on. Do we, I believe we have some others on the phone?
There's no further
okay.
comments this evening.
So, okay, so we've got quite a bit of business to do tonight, so let's move
Well,
forward.
excuse me, I'm
We
sorry,
are
you said
at-
this, she said there's 20 minutes that are sometimes left for people to speak on.
Yes, but you get
But
3
you said
minutes.
only
But you get 3 minutes.
each person only,
Right.
thank you, Ms. Brady.
And each person gets 3 minutes.
Thank you.
So, you're welcome. So we are now at 7 on educational services. We will review the proposed revisions to board policy administrative regulation, BP/AR-AR, 6142.7, physical education and activity, and BP-AR 6142.8, comprehensive health education. This is a first read. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees review the proposed revisions to BP-AR as presented. I believe that's just a first read, okay? Any comments or questions about that? Okay, let's move forward to B, educational services, review of curriculum guide, unmanned aircraft systems, design and production, and this also is a first read. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees receive the attached curriculum guide for review. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, we move on to C. Educational Services approve expanded learning opportunities grant plan for Antelope Valley Union High School District. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the expanded learning opportunities grant plan for AVUHSD. Excuse me just a minute. Okay, so I need a motion on this one. Is that correct? Okay. I need so this one we will be voting on. So I need a motion, please.
I move.
That's Ms. Nguyen, a second. Thank you, Mr. Rush. Any discussion?
Ms. McGrady, if it pleases the board, I have Dr. Kelly here. He's the one who wrote the grant, and he's available to make some comments as well as answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Dr. Kelly.
Good evening, board and cabinet. Thanks for letting me come up here tonight. What you have before you is, are you allowed to take this off when you're up here talking? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
There we go. So the state has provided extended learning opportunities grant based upon our the student body, and for the district it's just under 16 million, and for the academies of the Antelope Valley, which is a subsequent item, it's just under 400,000. And the key thing here is that you can only spend it 7 different ways, and it's all for supplemental instruction and opportunities for students to earn credits back. And so you'll see the money kind of spread out amongst those 7 categories. Once it's approved, we upload it to the CDE tomorrow and execute the plan in the next year.
Any questions or comments?
I just have one comment, Dr. Kelly. Thank you. This is a lot of work. I actually read through it and was totally impressed, and I have to say I appreciate the work that you put into it.
It was a team effort. If I stood here and like I did it, I'd be a liar.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
And can Ms. Nguyen, can you speak louder and greater into the mic?
Sure. Would you repeat that?
Can you both speak to the mic?
Okay, I can't get any closer. Can you hear? Is that not any better?
When I can hear you, but when you guys start talking lower, so
Okay. We'll do our best. Ms. Nguyen, we both need to get closer to the mic. Okay. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Having a motion and a second, we'll now take a vote. Student board member, Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yeah.
I need you to talk a little louder for us, please. We can't hear you either. I can see your mouth moving, but I don't hear any sound. I believe that was a yes? Thank you. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady? Yes. So that passes by a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. So we move forward to Educational Services approve expanded learning opportunities grant plan for AAV. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the expanded learning opportunities grant plan for AAV. We need a motion. Thank you, Mr. Rush. A second?
I second.
Ms. Nguyen, thank you. We have any discussion? Comments? Okay, having a motion and a second, we'll now vote. Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady is a yes. So the item passes by a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. We are on E. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve textbook and digital access purchases for anatomy, biology, chemistry, and physics as presented. May I have a motion? Mr. Rush and Mrs. Nguyen is a second. Any discussion? Hearing none and having a motion and a second, we will now vote. Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. And Mrs. McGrady is a yes. The item passes by a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. We are on F. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve textbook and digital access purchases for Springboard English Language Arts as presented. May I have a motion?
I move.
Ms. Nguyen, thank you. A second? Second, Mr. Rush, thank you. Any discussion or comments? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. We'll now take the vote. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady? Yes. So the item passes with a 5-0 vote with our student board member voting yes. We are on number 8. This is our collective bargaining. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the agreement with CSEA as presented. May I have a motion? Mr. Rush, thank you. A second?
Second.
Ms. Nguyen, we need any discussion or comments? Hearing none, and we have a motion and a second. We will now vote. Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady is a yes, so it passes by a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. We are on B, 8B. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the 2021-2022 designation of CIF representatives to the league. May I have a motion?
I
Ms.
second.
Rush, second. Ms. Nguyen? Thank you. Any discussion or comments?
I just have one comment. I just want to put a thank you to our coaches and mentors for the work that they do to support our students.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion and a second. We'll now take the vote. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Abstain.
Abstain. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady? Yes. That passes by a vote of 4-0 with one abstention and a student board member voting yes. I'd like to take a consensus of the board on items C through F to approve the provisional internship permit for individuals to teach. Would the board wish to take action with one vote for items C through F? Would like a consensus. Ms. Perrell?
Yes, that's fine.
Yes, thank you. Trying to see what order we do this in. Dr. Ruffin?
Aye.
Are you willing to vote on, with one vote?
I said no.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Ms. Nguyen?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Rush? Yes. And Ms. McGrady? Yes. And Mr. Johnson, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Rush. And then I need a second.
I second.
A second for Ms. Nguyen. Do we have any discussion or comments? And once again, we are voting on C through F for the provisional internship permit or PIP. Any discussion or comment?
Yes.
Hearing none, I have a motion and a second. We'll now call for the vote. Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Aye. And Ms. McGrady, yes. So it passes with a 5-0 vote with our student board member voting yes. Okay, so let me get to the bottom of those. That was said C through F. Okay. All right, so that takes us to G, the approval of a short-term staff permit, Stsp. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and direct the Assistant Superintendent of Personnel Services to submit a short-term staff permit allowing this individual to teach in the subject areas indicated. May I have a motion?
I second.
That was Mr. Rush as a motion and Ms. Nguyen as a second. Do we have any discussion or comments? Okay, hearing none, we will now call for the vote. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady is a yes. That passes by a vote of 5-0 with the student board member voting yes. We are now on H. The board will be considering an amendment to the employment contract for Dr. David Vieira as the district superintendent's for the district's superintendent effective July 1st, 2021. The amendment identifies Dr. Vieira's compensation for the 2021-2022 school year based on his existing employment contract as $314,754. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the amendment to the employment agreement for the superintendent, David J. Vieira. May I have a motion? Mr. Rush, a motion, second?
I second.
Ms. Nguyen, the second. Okay, as far as discussion, I'd like to just give a little bit of information. The amendment to the superintendent's employment agreement identifies the superintendent's term of employment and salary for the 2021-22 school year. Concerns were raised by the prior board regarding the legality of certain portions of the superintendent's employment agreement. The amendment merely reflects the terms of the superintendent's employment based on his existing employment agreement. These are not substantive changes. In other words, the amendment merely codifies the term and salary that the superintendent is entitled to under his current employment agreement. The superintendent's employment agreement is and has always been valid and enforceable. However, the superintendent's employment agreement has been updated to reflect statutory limitations on cash payouts to the superintendent's termination for no cause section. Specifically, the superintendent's right to receive cash payout if he is terminated for no cause has been reduced from 18 months to 12 months. Any questions or any further discussion of this?
Yes.
Okay.
So when I brought this here, it's interesting that it was for the record. So I'm curious as to why all of a sudden this is something that's being remedied, but I'm glad that it is. In addition to that, I would like that the board as a whole receive information, presentations from Dr. Vieira ahead of time. We did not get Ms. Williams' presentation today, and that's been consistent since I've been on this board with other cabinet members presenting. In addition to that, I noticed that last year and the year before, we were sent evaluation information for Dr. Vieira. And interesting with this new board, that has not been an option for me. There's nothing in our bylaws that profess that we have to be in closed session in order to receive that document, and it's something that has shifted recently. Those are my comments.
Just for clarification, I just want to, so this agreement references legal changes that are required by law, things that have happened in the last years or so. Mr. Fernald, I guess I need to ask you.
Can you repeat the question? Before you repeat the question?
So the question was whether or not the amendment reflects legal changes that were made. And it does in part. It does two things. It codifies both the term and the compensation based on his existing contract. So that's not a substantive change at all. It's just codifying. It's putting in writing what his term and compensation are for 21, 22.
Okay.
And the 18 to 12 months is a statutory change that has occurred since his contract was signed in 2015.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll call for the vote. We have a motion and a second. So, Mr. Johnson, how would you like to vote?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell?
No.
No. Dr. Ruffin?
No, I'm looking forward to this.
No? Okay. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady? Yes. So it passes with a vote of 3-2 with the student board member voting yes. Okay, we are at 9 on ratification change order number 3. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve change order number 3 to Allison Mechanical Incorporated and authorize Brian Hawkins to execute the change order on behalf of the district. May I have a motion? Mr. Rush, thank you. A second?
Second.
Ms. Nguyen, any comments or discussion?
I just, I want to thank Mr. Hawkins. I don't like change orders. I made that announcement the other day, but thank you so much for going over the change orders and why they have become valid in front of us for a vote. So thank you very much for taking that time with me. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, we have a motion and a second. We'll now call for the vote. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin? Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady is a yes. That passes with a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve change order number 1 to Gary Little Construction Incorporated and authorize Brian Hawkins to execute the change order on behalf of the district. This is for the Holston building remodel. May I have a motion?
I move.
Ms. Nguyen, thank you. A second? Thank you, Mr. Rush. Do we have any discussion or comments? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. We'll call for the vote. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Ms. Perrell?
No.
No. Dr. Ruffin?
No.
No or aye? No.
No.
Thank you. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady? Yes. So this one passes by a vote of 3-2 with our student board member voting yes. We are on C, a contract to the lowest responsible bidder for the roof restoration. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees award a contract with Western Pacific Roofing as the lowest responsible bidder and authorize Brian Hawkins to execute the contract on behalf of the district. May I have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Rush. A second?
Second.
Ms. Nguyen, I appreciate that. And do we have any discussion or comments? Hearing none, we have a motion and a second. We'll call for the vote. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady is a yes. So this one passes 5-0 with the student board member voting yes. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees award a contract with Reliable floor covering as the lowest responsible bidder and authorize Brian Hawkins to execute the contract on behalf of the district. May I have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Rush. A second?
Second.
A second, Ms. Nguyen. Any discussion or questions?
I just have one question. I noticed it references Northwest Valley Schools, and then down further on our agenda it says Southwest Valley Schools. Is that like a new designation or just an abbreviated way of putting the schools?
It was an easier way for us to bid in almost a quadrant, splitting the valley in four, and that way we got different bidders, and there are a couple of different winners on this.
Oh, okay.
And so it was just an easier way for us to manage the process by grouping the schools geographically.
I didn't have a problem with that. It's just a new way of referencing schools to me anyway. Thank you. Thank you.
And that was for the bid number 9-2021 Northwest Valley Schools. So any other questions or discussion? Hearing none and having a motion and a second, we call for the vote. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Ms. Perrell.
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady is a yes. So that passes with a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. So this one is for the Northeast Valley Schools carpet and LVT replacement. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees award a contract with Reliable floor covering as the lowest responsible bidder and authorize Brian Hawkins to execute the contract on behalf of the district. May I have a motion? Thank you, Ms. Rush, and Ms. Nguyen is a second. Do we have any discussion or any questions? Hearing none and having a motion and a second, we call for the vote. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Aye. Ms. McGrady is a yes, so that passes with a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. Now we are at F. This one is number 11/20-21 Southwest Valley Schools carpet. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees award a contract with Reliable floor covering at the lowest responsible bidder and authorize Brian Hawkins to execute the contract on behalf of the district. May I have a motion?
I move.
Ms. Nguyen was a motion and the second was Mr. Rush. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none and having a motion and a second, we will now call for the vote. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady is a yes. That passes with a vote of 5-0 with the student board member voting yes. And then this one is bid 12/2021 Southeast Valley Schools carpet. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees award a contract with Reliable floor covering as the lowest responsible bidder and authorize Brian Hawkins to execute the contract on behalf of the district. May I have a motion? Mr. Rush, thank you. A second?
A second.
Ms. Nguyen, any discussions or comments? Hearing none and having a motion and a second, we call for the vote. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady is a yes. So this passes with a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. We are at H, the contract for the ROP flooring replacement. This is bid number 14/2021. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees award a contract with Reliable floor covering as the lowest responsible bidder and authorize Brian Hawkins to execute the contract on behalf of the district. May I have a motion? Mr. Rush, thank you. A second?
I second.
Ms. Nguyen, thank you. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none and having a motion and a second, we call for the vote. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady is a yes. This passes by a vote of 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. We are at the consent agenda. We will approve items listed in the following consent agenda categories: educational services, student services, personnel services, business services, and administrative services. Actions proposed for the consent agenda are items consistent with adopted policies and approved practices of the district and are deemed routine in nature. The board will be asked to approve all of the items in the consent agenda by a single vote unless any member of the board asks that an item be removed from the consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately. It is recommended that the board of trustees. Yes, ma'am? Let me get the motion first, please. It is recommended that the board of trustees approve the items listed in the following consent agenda categories: educational services, student services, personnel services, business services, and administrative services as presented. May I have a motion? Mr. Rush, thank you. A second? Second. A second. Okay, I think that was Ms. Glenn I heard first. Okay, now Dr. Ruffin.
Okay. 13. 13. 113. As at the board. 15A.
15A.
13 and 15A.
Okay, got 15A. What was the 13?
13B.
B is a boy.
Okay, 13B and 15A. Okay, are those for discussion or for a vote?
Discussion and vote.
Discussion and vote.
Okay, so let's vote on the others, the rest of the consent agenda first. Oh, you have something? Okay.
Two comments. Item 12C and D. I just have a comment.
Okay.
Ms. Williams, these were the two that you were talking about that would basically double our social worker availability on our campuses.
That would be D, with the MOU with Cal State Bakersfield.
Okay.
And C is with Grambling University, and it allows us to have counselor interns on our campuses as well.
Thank you very much for working on this, because that's amazing. That will be amazing.
Okay, so we'll call for the vote on the consent agenda.
For discussion, 7H.
Could you repeat that one? Oh, okay, here it is. Thank you. I'm seeing it now. 11H. Okay, so we 11H.
That's just for.
Okay, as a curriculum guide. All right, and that's for discussion. All right, so all right. Let me just make sure I'm clear on the. On 13B and 15A, those are for vote, and for 11H is discussion. So if you want to, let's go ahead and discuss that, and then we'll vote on the consent agenda, and we'll pull the other two aside for individual votes. So Dr. Ruffin, you're up.
Thank you. I am very excited to see that the adoption of the curriculum guide, Chicano Studies. I remember that I think that it's very important for our students to be in tune about their heritage and see themselves in representation. One of the things that I would like to add to this curriculum is any data or information that would be specific for Chicano studies, Hispanic, Latinos, Latinx, people from our specific community. I think that that's very important to highlight that when we're looking at ethnic studies. And I also want to charge this board to bring up a curriculum that's similar like this for African American students as well. Thank you.
Or discussion? All right, hearing none, we will call for the vote on the consent agenda minus 13B and 15A. Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Ms. Nguyen? Aye. Ms. Rush? Yes, and Ms. McGrady is a yes, so it passes 5-0 with our student board member voting yes. So then our next one would be 13B. That's a declaration. So first we need to get a motion. I need a motion. Thank you, Mr. Rush. A second?
Second.
Second, that was Ms. Perrell?
Dr.
Ruffin. Dr. Ruffin? Okay, and so Dr. Ruffin, you're up.
So I'm not really understanding the language in here is declared indefinite. Says that it is recommended that the Board of Trustees declare that all certificated, classified, and management confidential employee salaries are declared indefinite for the 2021-2022 school year in order to permit retroactive pay. What does that mean when you're saying indefinite?
We do this on an annual basis. This is something that you probably recognize from previous years. What this action does, it allows us to continue negotiating, for example, salary increases for the next school year, even though we may not come to a conclusion during this school year. So if we come to a salary negotiation and it's approved by the board sometime, let's say in August or September, this allows us to do retroactive pay back to July 1 of that fiscal year.
Got it.
Other comments about this? Okay, hearing none, and we have a motion and a second. We'll call for the vote. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Okay, Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Dr. Ruffin?
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Nguyen? Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady? Yes. So this passes 5-0 with Mr. Johnson voting yes. So our final one is 15A, Administrative Service Approved Minutes of Special Board Meeting held on April 10th. So I need a motion.
Motion.
Okay, so that would be Mr. Rush, and then Dr. Ruffin, you would be the second. So Dr. Ruffin, you're up.
There's no discussion. I just want to vote.
Vote on approving the minutes. Okay. All right. Would anybody else have a discussion or have a comment on it? All right. Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Perrell?
Aye.
Aye. Dr. Ruffin?
No.
No. Ms. Nguyen?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Rush? And Ms. McGrady is a yes, so it passes with a 4-1 vote with the student board member voting yes. Okay, so let's see, we are now, let me find us back, where are we? Okay, on this page. Hang on, excuse me, let me find my page here. Put too many over there. Okay, we are from the board and the superintendent. So I skipped right over that. So we'll start with Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, would you like to speak this evening?
Yes. I'll start my comments by thanking Knight High School and Knight Prep for allowing Miss McGrady and I to go over there. We had some cool experiences. We went to Mr. Stockdale's room and they had Miss McGrady have a drone view across. The kids made her go find a bottle around the campus. It was a lot of fun over there. So thank you for going with me over there. Good to see all the kids back. Our ICC class has elected our representative for the 2021-2022 school year, and his name is Matthew Martinez. He goes to Knight High School, and he is a junior. He's an incoming senior next year. I've known Matthew for a long time, since middle school, and he has no flaws other than being a Yankees fan. So he'll be great over there. I have nothing but faith and support for him for the next school year. Thank you to all the comments made about myself this earlier in the meeting. Tonight is my 33rd and final board meeting. It seems crazy to me when I say it. This is also the only thing I've ever had perfect attendance in. 33 out of 33. This position has taught me so much regarding procedure, professionalism, hard work, organization, time management, and of course, patience. I often would tell people jokingly that there was no way I'd rather spend my Wednesday or Thursday nights, but truly this place, I learned so much in it. I've learned that the community cares about the success of students. It is a top priority, and it's been evident in my tenure here. This was not an easy school year. Challenges got us at all angles, but we persevered and made it through. I believe that sometimes we take advantage of so many things in our life, so I think it's fitting that my final words be things that I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for the community support that I've been given over the last couple years. I'm thankful for all the opportunities that I was given in this position to serve the students and the relationships that I created in doing so. I'm thankful for the student leaders in the system of ICC that allows each school to be equally represented to ensure that student voices are heard in every issue. I am thankful for Ms. Perrell, Dr. Ruffin, Ms. Wynn, Mr. Rush, and Ms. McGrady for your passion and sacrifice that you share for students. I'm thankful for Ms. Orozco for being my best friend over the couple years and guiding me through everything. I couldn't have done anything without you, and I'll miss stealing lifesavers from your desk. I'm thankful for the education that I received in this district and the teachers and staff that made it possible. I'm thankful for the truly greatest school in our district, Knight High School, and all the staff and teachers that had to deal with me the last few years. Thank you to everybody. And finally, I'm thankful to my family and all the sacrifices they made for me. I forget, I started so long ago, I couldn't even drive when I first started. I've been driving for over a year now. I feel like I've been here forever. So thank you to all the sacrifices. Thank you to everybody. I hope everybody has a great summer. And that's all I got.
Thank you. Let's give him a hand. Yay. Yes. Thank you so much. Ms. Perrell, do you have anything to share with us tonight?
Yes, I want to congratulate all of the students that have graduated during the hard that we've been facing, and also to the faculty and staff having a safe summer, and also I know they're going to be working as well. But I do thank everyone for their hard work, and it shows with all the students.
Dr. Ruffin, do you have anything you'd like to share tonight?
Yes. I'm sending huge congratulations to the class of 2021 and the class of 2020. I noticed that we had both represented at our graduation yesterday at Desert Pathways. You have completed an enormous milestone, and it is the beginning of endless possibilities as you journey forward. Huge blessings to you, your families, all the educators and support staff that have been instrumental in their academic success. This is exactly what I witnessed at Desert Pathways graduation yesterday. Kudos to the Coyotes, Principal Tweety Ferguson and her entire team for all that they did with the tenacious students in their class of 2020 and 2021. Both of these classes made it despite a pandemic. Your fortitude during this time has catapulted you into your greatness. Again, congratulations to the class of 2021 and 2020. We've been in this pandemic for a year and 2 months. Yesterday was the anniversary of George Floyd's death. Our hearts are with all who loved him and his family. I am thankful for the teenager, Daniela Frazier, who courageously stood for justice. I believe this is our power to fight for justice and equity until our institutions reflect people like me that matter, until our policies are inclusive of people like me that matter. I challenge the class of 2021 to stand up for justice, to be the change they wish to see, to make the changes in our county boards, in our state houses, in our city halls, and across America. Being a justice seeker means you might be rejected for your convictions, yet never be willing to be accepted anywhere if it costs you your moral compass. Praying for everyone to stay safe and well and have a great summer.
I have just a couple of comments. I think Karen White just about, she hit every single congratulation that I had listed, and I do want to congratulate SOAR on becoming a distinguished school twice. I worked on that process some years ago for another school district. It's not an easy process, and it's quite competitive, and I congratulate SOAR. Congratulations to AV High School. Over the past year or so, they've worked hard to improve the physical appearance of the school, and it looks beautiful. They have banners and flags and murals, and it all adds to a positive campus. They do games at break time for the students who seem to really enjoy them. I got to meet the PBIS director on their campus, which just a positive young man. And I hope he stays with the high school district for quite a while. Just recently, Lancaster Baptist Church held its annual First Responder Appreciation Service Ceremony, and Deputy Mike Tom, who was a deputy for the high school district for many years, and I'm not sure where he was most recently, but when I left the district in 2015, he was at AV High School. You have at night now? Oh, okay, thank you. Just a positive person, and I believe he makes a difference on the campuses. The award that he received was named after Sergeant Steve Owen and Deputy Steve Sorensen. I stopped by Quartz Hill High School and I received a warm welcome. I did not intend to stay, but just saw so many familiar faces and some new faces, but they all had beautiful smiles. And then Lancaster High School, oh my, the counseling department. I have to tell you, I introduced a parent who was very nervous about her daughter coming to high school next year, and took her over to Lancaster High School. The counseling department was just amazing. I mean, by the time she got done talking to people in that department, she felt so much better. She told me that it feels like family at Lancaster High School, and it does. And Eli, I'm thankful for you. You have done just an amazing job in 2 years, and I'm so blessed that I got to know you and get to work with you a little bit anyway. And I wish you all the best and luck in the future. And I want to hear what you've done and what you're doing. And please let us know what you're doing. And I did not know that Rachel's desk had life stickers. Thank you for that too. I want to appreciate that. Congratulations to all our students and staff. It's been an interesting, challenging year, but because we have strong, caring people on our campuses and in our administration, things work out for the better for everyone. And thank you to Julie Drake for sitting through the entire meeting. Thank you for your, I really like that idea that students can submit a picture to the Valley Press and that you'll be posting them for that. I really think that's a great idea. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Ms. Rush.
Thank you. Great 33 meetings. Did a great job. We have no doubt to be successful in what we do. I do want to thank everybody for their hard work during the year, winding down, graduation, coming up, and
That's it. Okay. Thank you. Well, Eli, yes, we had a great time out at Night High, and thank you all of the staff out there who were so kind. And at night prep, the kids were actually pretty kind to me. So I'm staggering around trying to find the flying. But anyhow, it's been great. I'd like to first congratulate SOAR once again for their being named a distinguished school. We're so proud of all the work that you do there. And also, I'll have to echo the congratulations to the counselors at Lancaster to be recognized nationally. We're so proud of you all. Congratulations to all of our seniors. We're proud of your accomplishments. We're excited for what you have next year, and so hopefully you'll be able to go to college. For those of you going away to college or to trade school, hopefully you'll be able to attend those. The world is going to open back up, and you'll actually be able to go pursue all of your endeavors. The end of the year is almost upon us. I'd like to tell all of our staff to enjoy the summer, recharge, get ready to come back. Congratulations to you for surviving this year. It's going to be sad to say goodbye to Eli. I've really enjoyed seeing your smiling face here, and you've been a pleasure to work with. I know you're going to do great things. We're very, very excited for you as you go down this next step. I believe, well, I'll come to that. I was not quite sure when our next meetings are. I think they're Wednesday, June 9th at 10, and then Monday, June 14th, is it at 9 or at 10? 10, okay. And I just, because I had 9 on my calendar, I thought that's probably not right, so I wanted to double check. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Vieira.
Well, a lot of congratulatories going out there. We'll try not to be too redundant, but I'd like to start off, if any of you did not get a chance to see the 2021 Virtual Employee Recognition Program, it was a good one. I'd like to, again, congratulate all the site and district employees of the year. It was great to hear the contributions each of you made. I'd like to give a special shout out to, again, our classified employee of the year, Helen Gonzalez, and of course our teacher of the year, Leo Moreno. Congratulations and well deserved. Eli, it's been nothing but a pleasure working with you these last couple of years. Congratulations. I wish you all the best, and please stay in touch. One comment I would like to make that was not made prior is a belated happy birthday to Miss McGrady. I know yesterday was your birthday, so happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then to all the graduates, congratulations. It's been a unique year, but your resiliency, your perseverance, and your steadfastness has served you well. Wish you all the best in the years to come.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, we're closing in on this, folks. We are back. I'm going to read from the highlighted sheet from closed session. Item B, employer-employee relations. During closed session, the board held a conference with labor negotiator, Mr. Rhett Neal, regarding certificated bargaining unit, classified bargaining unit, and unrepresented group, and the board took no action. During closed session, item C, during closed session, the board considered a public employee discipline, dismissal, release, reassignment, non-reelect, and the board took no action. Item D, during closed session, the board considered a public employee appointment on a motion by John Rush, seconded by Danita Wind. The board upheld the committee's recommendation and approved, I believe, I'm so sorry if I mess up your name, but it's Ryan Cuttrell as vice principal by the following vote. It was 3-0, but I just wanted him to know we had 3 people vote. All of us that were here voted for you. So it was a 3-0 vote. So it passed. During closed session, the board considered a public employee appointment on a motion by John Rush, seconded by Danita Wind. The board upheld the committee's recommendation and approved Ed Gonzalez, thank you, as vice principal by the following vote, 3-0. Once again, it was approved. It passed. During closed session, the board considered a public employee appointment on a motion by John Rush, seconded by Danita Wind. The board upheld the committee's recommendation and approved Marina Skates by the following vote. I'm so sorry. 3-0, and it passed. We are at item E. During closed session, the board considered a public employee appointment on a motion by John Rush, seconded by Danita Wind. the board upheld the committee's recommendation, approved of Marissa Reisling as Director 1, Director of Student Services by the following vote, 3-0, it passed. On item F, public employee appointment, the Director 2, Director of Equity. During closed session, the board considered a public employee employment appointment. On a motion by John Rush, seconded by Danita Nguyen, the board upheld the committee's recommendation and approved Dr. Catherine Taylor. Taylor? Yes. As Director 2, the Director of Equity by the following vote, 3-0. It passed. Item G, public employee employment appointment, titled Transition Services and We Care Program Coordinator. During closed session, the board considered a public employee employment appointment. On a motion by John Rush, seconded by Danita Nguyen, the board upheld the committee's recommendation and approved Dr. Kathy Mercier as Transition Services and We Care Program Coordinator by the following vote, 3-0. It passed. Item H, Public Employee Settlement and Release Agreement. Number PS 2020-21-05, Government Code 54957. During closed session, the board considered Public Employee Settlement and Release Agreement, PS 2020-2105. On a motion by John Rush, seconded by Danita Nguyen, the board approved the agreement by the following vote, 3-0. Item I, Final Settlement and Release Agreement, STS 21076. During closed session, the board considered Final Settlement and Release Agreement, STS 21076, OAH case number 2020-11-0688. On a vote by John Rush, seconded by Danita Nguyen, the board approved the agreement by the following vote, 3-0. The final settlement on item J, Final Settlement and Release Agreement, STS 21077. During closed session, the board considered the Final Settlement and Release Agreement, STS 21077, OAH case number 2020-12-006. On a motion by John Rush, seconded by Danita Nguyen, the board approved the agreement by the following vote, 3-0. Item K, Final Compromise and Release Agreement, STS 21078, OAH case number 2021-01-0438. During the closed session, the board considered that compromise and release agreement. On a motion by John Rush, seconded by Danita Nguyen, the board approved the agreement by the following vote, 3-0. Item L, Compromise and Release Agreement, STS 21079, OAH case number 2021-02-0132. During closed session, the board considered the compromise and release agreement. On a motion by John Rush, seconded by Danita Nguyen, the board approved the agreement by the following vote, 3-0. Item M, Conference with Legal Counsel pending litigation. One case, claim number 21-0517-001. During closed session, the board considered claim number 21-0517-001 pending litigation pursuant to subdivision E3 of section 54956.9. On a motion by John Rush, seconded by Danita Nguyen, the board rejected the claim with a vote of 3-0. Excuse me. Item N, the Conference with Legal Counsel existing litigation, case number 20 STCB 32678. During closed session, the board considered that case of existing litigation pursuant to subdivision of Government Code section 54956.9, and the board took no action.
Madam President, can I just make a quick comment over here?
Sorry?
Just a quick comment about closed session. I think that the record needs to reflect that the two board members that weren't in closed session as well. So it was a 3-0 because all the votes were 3-0.
Right.
And you have to report out how people voted.
Okay.
So I just want to make it clear that it was a 3-0 vote with two board members not being present.
Absent.
And those two board members were Victoria Ruffin and Amanda Perel.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we are at adjournment. May I have a motion? Ms. Nguyen, a second? Mr. Rush, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. Mr. Johnson? Aye. Aye, your last vote. Ms. Perel?
Aye.
Aye, Dr. Ruffin? Yes? Ms. Nguyen? Aye. Aye. Mr. Rush? Yes. Ms. McGrady? Yes. So the item passes by a vote of 5-0 with our board member voting yes on his last vote. Thank you very much. We'll see you in June. Good night.